Welcome to Uncle's channel. Thanks for watching today, and let's continue our journey to finish every single Game Boy and Game Boy Color game. Today, focus on a game called Jurassic Park Part 2. The chaos continues for the original Game Boy. Now, if I was going to describe this game, I'd basically call it Contra with dinosaurs, because you play as a character here who looks like Alan Grant. May not be, but he has the same little floppy hat from the movies, and he's journeying through all these levels, has an automatic machine gun, and he's just pretty much mowing down dinosaurs as he goes. The same running gun action of Contra, of shooting straight forward, at a diagonal, going up, having a few different weapon choices. I mean, it's basically a run and gun game, but it happens to also be done really well for the Game Boy, and I had a good time as I went through it. Now, this particular game did move up in our queue a good bit, because Gab Mace-Do, if I'm saying it correctly, requests I cover it sooner than later. So now it's moved up in the queue. So this game that you want to see me cover sooner than later, let me know the name of the game in the comments down below. And just like Jurassic Park Part 2, I'll move it right on up in the queue. So I like to start the videos off looking at the box art for the game first. And the box art here is pretty much classic Jurassic Park. Has the core Jurassic Park logo right there in the center. And just says Part 2, the chaos continues down below it. I mean, it's a perfect cover to sum up what you're getting here. You're buying a game based on the franchise, hoping for dinosaurs. You get that inside the game, and so overall a fine cover, but nothing too crazy or out there. Now when you load the game up here, you do have actually a pretty cool opening cutscene. Has your little Jurassic Park mobile heading toward the park doors open up, little flames off to the side. It's a really good looking cutscene to try to mimic the overall scenery or overall aesthetic of the movie. And then the title screen comes up here exactly as you would expect. And then when you begin the first level, you do get like a little background story, a little background for every core zone here, but they're really lax on the details. They're not going to develop the story in any form or fashion. It basically just sort of says be careful as you head into the park. And level 1 here, or zone 1, is definitely right inside the park. You have like a little electrified fence in the background, some towers also in the background, every like little aesthetic you might see in the movie here, and then also the correct vegetation as well. And as you're journeying through here, like the first dinosaurs you encounter are not the most exciting dinosaurs. They want to save those a little bit later for in the game. You're going to be going up against like a Triceratops, these little birds, I guess, of sorts. I mean, probably Archaeopteryx, if I'm going to guess. Maybe, maybe not. And then also have like these little, I don't know, chicken-looking dinosaurs running across the bottom of the screen. I'm sure they have a name. I just simply do not know the name of this particular dinosaur. And like I said, you sort of go through it, run and gun. You basically keep on shooting different dinosaurs, take different hits. Like the Triceratops takes 3 hits to take out. The little bird ones, or little chicken one down here, takes like 1 hit to take out. So for the most part, level 1-1 is pretty easy here. But it's not just simply run and gun, taking the dinosaurs out. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to collect these little Jurassic Park key cards. Very easy to see on the screen, has a little JP written on it, looks just like a key card. And for the most part, they're along your path here, but every now and then a level tries to mix it up and you have to journey a little bit off the path to collect them. But it does tell you at the bottom of the screen how many you have left, so you know as you're nearing the exit if you need to backtrack and try to search for any that you might have missed along the way. And I also want to take a second to talk about the graphics overall in the game. I mentioned the background, the foreground a little bit, but the actual character here of Alan Grant, the animation as you're actually like, you know, reloading your shotgun as you're shooting it out here, or like the dinosaurs that are coming at you, the animations are pretty top tier for a Game Boy game, especially one that was pretty much based on a movie. A lot of time movie franchises sort of got the short end of the stick, and right here you can see the graphics are pretty top tier, and the gameplay is top tier as well. Let's go ahead and journey into stage 1-2. Now for the most part, this level is going to look almost identical to the first level, especially for like the enemies you go against, the background aesthetic, the foreground aesthetic, but there is one key difference here. There are like these little ponds or waterways throughout the level, and the first time I went through it, I thought you had to jump over it because it's probably a death if you fell into the hole here. And I got to the end of the level, I'm like, okay, I'm still missing some of the key cards here. I had to backtrack, and it turned out you can hop into the water, and you can swim down here. You get like a little harpoon gun, and you swim down, you try to avoid the, basically the prehistoric fish, I guess. We're going to call them cephalopods, because it's like the only prehistoric fish that I know of. And I know there's a ton of them, it's just the only one that comes to the top of my brain here. But you're journeying through, and you can swim through here, collect your little Jurassic Park key cards, and the rest of them are all hidden in the water areas throughout the level. Go back to the end, the gate's unlocked, and you can go on through the exit here. Now 1-3 is going to be your first boss in the game. It's going to finish up the first zone. It's called the Triceratops zone, and you're basically fighting against a giant Triceratops. So all the Triceratops you played throughout the level, I guess were like baby ones because they were way smaller. This is the mama Triceratops here, and a very, very easy boss. Basically have like these little platforms that they descend one at a time, and you basically have to get on the platform and then hunker down. The Triceratops will run right over the top of you, and when she's not, you know, right above you, you can stand up, shoot her with your rifle here or your shotgun, or if you press the select button, you go to your grenade, and then you can just simply stay ducked down, throw the grenades out there, and you pretty much have zero chance of getting hit. And when, of course, that platform ascends up, you run over to the other one. As it ascends down, run over to the other one. It goes down, duck down again, repeat the whole strategy all over again, and Triceratops is taken out in literal no time. Now, stage 2 is the Pterodon, and as far as like aesthetic-wise goes, you're definitely deeper into the jungle here. However, the enemies you fight against are exactly the same as the first zone, and at first I was a little disappointed because like, are all the dinosaurs going to be the same the entire game long? And that's not the case. They just simply chose to repeat them between Zone 1 and Zone 2, and they probably could have done a little more mix-up, but you know, that's what they did. And so as far as like the level goes, it is definitely more complex of a level. So now instead of just simply traveling horizontally, now you're going vertically as well, going up and going down to explore all these little caverns, these little places you can go into. And basically, once again, just simply trying to find the JP key cards. They're simply hidden a little bit better this time. There are some spikes you have to hop over as far as like obstacles go. And there's also these giant leaves that you hop on. And like some of the leaves are just simply static. They sort of go down with the weight of your character. And some leaves actually like basically work as elevators throughout the level. I don't know. I mean, like it takes you out of the realism a little bit, but at the same time, you are playing a science fiction game in Jurassic Park. If they want to have traveling leaves, let them have traveling leaves. But basically, Zone 2-1 and Zone 2-2 are pretty much the same. And Zone 2-3 is when you're going to get to go against the actual Pterodon here. And she basically flies in here with a giant stone, tries to throw the stone at you, and it's going to hit you majority of the times, or at least it did me. And then she's going to fly away. And your entire purpose here is when she's coming down with that stone and flying away, you want to get as many shots in as you can, because after she's gone, 3 little baby pterodactyls or pterodons are going to come down, try to attack you. You have to take them out, and once they're all gone, she's going to come flying back in from the side of the screen that she left from and throw another stone at you. You try to avoid, shoot her a few more times, and you simply repeat the same process over and over. Her enemy health bar is in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, so you can always keep up with like how many more shots you need as far as like how reckless you want to be. And I always enjoy games that actually give you like an enemy health bar. I hate games, well, I don't hate them, but I always dislike the mechanic anyway, where they just simply give you an enemy and you have no idea how many hits are left. This is actually, you know, I don't know, it's something nice inside of a game. Now, once you defeat her, then you're going to go into the first of the 2 T-Rex zones inside the game, and this is probably my least favorite level. Yes, it looks really cool here. You got a giant T-Rex off to the left-hand side, continually moving from left to right, and so it is a horizontal scroll level, and you have to make sure the T-Rex never hits you, and so you basically have to figure out which corridors you need to take to collect all the JP key cards and get to the end without the T-Rex ever hitting you, and also avoiding the little baby T-Rex throughout the level at the same time. But the problem here is, like, if you take the wrong pathway, you can't escape out of it. And so, like, if you mess up, you take the wrong pathway, you generally run out of time before the T-Rex gets to the edge. You hit him and you pass away, and you have to start the entire level all over again. And so, like, for the most part, if you want to beat this level, you just simply have to memorize it. You have to play it enough times to know exactly where all the key cards are going to be and which pathways are going to lead to a dead end. I did figure out, like, for the most part, if you ever like forget as far as like your memorization goes, if you just simply take the top path, at least for this T-Rex stage, you'll generally take the right path. The top path is almost always the correct route, except for like 1 or 2 occasions. But still, it's a long level, it's a difficult level, it's a frustrating level, and it's my least favorite level throughout the whole game. But now that we're done with it, let's go ahead and journey into Zone number 3. And Zone number 3 is actually a pretty cool looking level here. You're journeying down a river, and in some parts you're going to be on your little raft here on the actual water. Other parts you're going to be on like a little bridge or wooden bridge that you're journeying across. And so there is some variety to this level. And as you're on the raft part here, you're journeying down the actual river. Like little flying fish are going to jump out and try to attack you. You can kill those off. But then you also have the plesiosaurs, I believe, comes out of the water here. Really cool looking dinosaurs, like a Loch Ness monster trying to attack you. Hey, Loch Ness monster. Speaking of that, we're in tune for the video by chance here. But he tries to attack you, and it's a really, really long level. And you can, of course, get on like the little wooden bridge parts here. Have to take out a few dinosaurs, a few flying pterodons are going to come down and try to take you out as well. This is not necessarily a difficult level. It's just a really long level, and if you mess up at any point and you end up dying, you have to start back the entire thing all over again. I feel like this level here would be a little bit better if they simply shortened it just a little bit. All of the other levels in the game are much shorter than this and give you way more health as you're going. This is just simply it's a little bit on the long side. Now level 3-2 is going to be completely different than 3-1. Now you're in like an underwater cave here, and you have to collect like 60 something or 50 something Jurassic Park key clips or key cards. That's the word I'm looking for. And at first I was like, holy cow, how am I going to find like 60 or 50 Jurassic Park key cards in this little cave? And then it turns out there's like 2 or 3 like reservoirs throughout, and they have like 15 Jurassic Park key cards right there. You just collect them all in one swift blow. But as you're journeying through here, there are some new enemies. You do get to fight off against trilobites. They're going to be journeying through the water. These little armored fish-looking things. And they take a lot of hits to take out. And you also get your very first time, and only one of them as well, a spitter dinosaur inside the level. And so it's really a shame, because this is like everyone's favorite dinosaur in Jurassic Park. I think it was invented for the movie as far as like the actual effects here. And so everyone loved it. I mean, it's like the talk of the town when I was a kid. I still look back at it as like one of the coolest creatures ever invented. And they only put one of them in the entire game. And he's not even like a main enemy here. It's just like a small one off to the side at the top here. 3 shots taken out. It's just sort of a disappointing appearance of him. I'm glad he's here, but it's just disappointing they put so small effort into actually implementing him into the game. For the most part, this level here is a little bit more complex than some of the other ones as far as like exploring different pathways and whatnot, but it does add for a little bit more exploration inside the game, and so for the most part, an enjoyable level. Now 3-3 is going to mix things up a little bit and create its own dinosaur name here. It says you're going up against something called the cephalosaur, and I looked it up, like what is a cephalosaur? And it's actually a land dinosaur, so they named it wrong because basically there's something called a cephalopod, which is like a squid, and so they basically took a giant squid or giant shelled squid as your boss here to attack against you, and they just simply named it a cephalosaur and created a name because they said it's a giant cephalopod, but that is not the name. A cephalosaur is this dinosaur on the screen right here. They did have, because I was like, did they even have like cephalosaurs or see, I'm even saying it now. Did they even have cephalopods with this large of a shell back in dinosaur times? I looked it up. Indeed they did, but the name of the particular creature here, I'll put it on the screen, and they chose not to use that in the game. So this dinosaur you're fighting against is legitimate. It's just simply not the name of cephalosaur, as it says here. But the giant squid basically journeys from one side of the screen down to the other, and along the way you just simply have to dodge it, and once it goes off that side of the screen, 2 smaller cephalopods are going to come out. You have to attack them, kill them off, and then once they've taken out, he's going to come back across the screen again, and you simply have to keep shooting him as he goes. He is going to speed up quite a bit throughout the level, but he's never like really difficult, and so it's a fun challenge, but you know, nothing too bad. And then we go back to another T-Rex level. He's trying to once again chase you across this horizontal scrolling level. This one's a little bit harder because the top path is not always the correct path, and I feel like it's just simply a little bit more complex. But once again, if you memorize it, you'll do fantastic on it, but you're probably going to die multiple times trying to get it memorized. And also, like every time you do have a game over here, usually my game overs did happen with T-Rex, so I saw it the most often, but there's actually a variety in the game over screens depending like which dinosaur kills you off. But I didn't die most of the T-Rex, so I got to see that one the majority of the time. And there are a limited number of continues, so you may have to end up having to start back the entire game over before you actually memorize this T-Rex level here. Now zone number 4 here, you're actually in a rundown building or rundown facility inside of Jurassic Park, and they did try to mix the dinosaurs up a little bit. Now you have like the Ducky from Land Before Time, sort of like a platypus looking dinosaur, and then they went off and just simply invented a blob spike here. This is not a dinosaur. Look at this. It's like a genetic experiment gone wrong, because it's clearly a blob that's just moving around, crawling around like a slug, and it's got spikes on it. That is not a dinosaur. I refuse to believe this is an actual dinosaur from prehistoric times. You can let me know if I'm wrong, but I just cannot imagine this being an actual dinosaur here. As far as like the level goes, it is a little bit more complex. You have all these little moving platforms going up and down, way more corridors to explore, like a little fire coming out of different places you have to hop over. And so it is getting a little bit more complex, but for the most part, like none of the corridors, you know, run off too far. You never get lost inside of a level. You don't need a map. For the most part, this game is not very challenging, except for the T-Rex level where you just have to memorize it. All of these other levels, if you sort of take your time and journey through it, you're going to have no trouble at all. Then after you finish up 4-1, you have a raptor battle, which is a really cool looking graphic here, except for his feet. His feet do look a little bit funky down at the bottom, but he's very easy. He just sort of runs across the screen, or more or less walks across the screen. Or you know what? We're going to say he gallops across the screen here. And as he's galloping to you, just shoot him a few times and hop up on the platform. And every now and then he'll also hop up on the platform, but he is very easy to predict like which direction he's going in. And so for the most part, you can see him a mile away, what he's going to do, take your shots, and then move on. Every now and then, and I mean like only one time in the entire boss fight, he did a mad dash across the screen. He did hit me with that, and it's like, okay, so he does know another move. He can be quick, but it's so rare that the challenge for this is pretty low. Now 4-2 is going to be more of the same as 4-1. I don't really think there's anything different between these two particular levels, except for the fact I did mean to mention, if you ever swap over to your grenade, you can actually blow up walls with your grenades and find like all kinds of hidden passageways for extra lives and such. I didn't realize this until Zone 4 here, and I really went crazy on blowing up some of the walls and find different pathways. It did make me wonder, like, if you go back to the beginning of the game, like how many things you can destroy to basically build your character up as you go. Now the final level here, you're going to go up against the T-Rex themselves. You're not going to do a horizontal scrolling level anymore. You're actually fighting the beast one-on-one, and essentially the T-Rex just sort of takes one step over, sort of bends down to try to bite you, one step over, bends down to bite you, and then I think third one bends down to bite and then goes back to the original position here. And all you have to do is avoid that and shoot the head. But it is sort of hard to actually avoid it and get enough headshots in. And after they go back to the original position, they sort of stand there frozen like a little baby T-Rex, or a smaller dinosaur rather, comes out, tries to attack you, and will just simply run across the screen back and forth, left and right, until you kill it off. And once you do 2 of those, then the T-Rex animates again and does the same little walk across, bite, walk across, bite, that same little pattern all over again. Now I did figure out a way to sort of cheese this T-Rex a little bit. If you just simply wait till the first stage is over and that little smaller dinosaur comes out and runs across the screen, way easier to dodge, and you just simply keep shooting the T-Rex's head during this stage and dodging the smaller dinosaur, you can actually take the T-Rex out and kill him completely off and not even have to worry about ever facing another stage of them walking out and chomping down as they go, because he's basically frozen in that until you kill that smaller dinosaur off. It worked wonders for me, and once I tried the strategy, I got him first try. Now after you take the T-Rex out, you walk out on this little platform, a helicopter comes down, picks you up, takes you off, and it says you have survived and escaped Jurassic Park. And unlike many others, it says they became dinner. You are a true hero here, and then the credits do begin to roll. A fairly good little closing cutscene, you know, gives you a closure of the game and a little good animation at the same time. But let's talk about the game as an overall. I did enjoy this game. I like classic run and gun games, so it is definitely down my alley. It's a little bit on the short side. I think it takes me like, or it took me maybe like an hour to finish it, maybe somewhere along there. It's not very difficult for the most part, except for some of the levels that are just simply a little bit too long, and the earlier T-Rex levels, or the intermission T-Rex levels, those can be a little bit hard. But for the most part, just take your time, enjoy it, enjoy the overall aesthetics here, enjoy the dinosaurs, enjoy the action. I would go back again at some point and probably explore more after grenades, which means there's actually a reason to replay the game to try to find more secrets. But I really do wish if I was going to add one more thing to the game, like weapon upgrades or different weapons that you could get, that'd be pretty cool, sort of like in Contra. Basically, make it a little more Contra-like, and I'd like the game a little bit more. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. A quick little run and gun game to journey through. I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. If they tweaked a few more things to make it a little more Contra-like, I'd probably move it up to a 7.5. But at the moment, 6.5. But I am looking forward to seeing what other Jurassic Park games are on the Game Boy, because I know there's at least one more. I don't know much about it, but I know there's at least one more Jurassic Park out there. But what do you all think? Do you enjoy Jurassic Park Part 2? The chaos continues. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above, and go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.